Welcome back to Ray's Garage. I'm your host, Ray Cornelia. This is a project update on the 1970 Nova build. I shouldn't have to mention this, but I will. Everything you see in these videos are purchased by me out of my pocket. I've received no discounts, no freebies. It's all been bought by me. I've had a few comments and I need to clear the air with that right from the get-go. If I get a freebie, if I get a handout, I will mention that. But to date, everything you've seen that's been put into this car, including purchase of the car, has been out of my pocket. With that said, what I'll do is I'll take you around the car and show you where we're at this very date and time. You're going to see parts from Wheel King in Fresno, California. They're the ones that ordered my custom American Racing Torque Thrust 2 wheels. You're also going to see parts from Quick Performance. They're the ones that built my rear axle to my specifications, so it's a custom length axle. And I also received my 4L80E automatic transmission and torque converter from Hughes Performance. That just arrived yesterday or the day before. So I'll give you a sneak peek of all this stuff. The transmission came real quick, sooner than I thought. I won't be needing it or using it until I get the new subframe in the car and the engine and all that stuff. So in the meantime, it's going to sit in the box, but I'll share some pictures with you of what it looks like. It's beautiful. Anyway, a big shout out to Quick Performance. I spent a lot of time with them on the phone getting this 9-inch custom built rear axle. Philip and I pre-fit it. And a big shout out to Ridetech. Ridetech, I purchased the full coilover kit from them, front and rear. The front's sitting in boxes right now. Like I said, I can't do anything with the front yet. My focus is finishing this back end of the car, and we're real close. I can actually see a little bit of glimmering light at the end of that tunnel. Ridetech, I purchased their 4-link cradle and 4-link double adjust bars. Quick Performance took my weld-on tabs that I sent them from Ridetech, and they jigged it up and they welded them on, and they welded them to perfection. Everything just bolted right up in there, and you'll see in some of the video clips. Yeah, that's what I should mention now too. All these updates I'm going to show you right now, I got a slew of video clips. I'm just going to run them back to back for your viewing pleasure, so you can see, you know, the little progress as we moved along. Also too, I have a day job. It's usually a 10-hour day. It's still been hot here. It's been in the mid-90s, 95. It was 96 in here yesterday. Yeah, it's mid-October, so hopefully this is the last week of the heat. So after I work a full day outside, I come home, and the last thing I'm going to do is work in my hot shop. Anyway, hopefully someday I'll resolve that with some cooling system. Anyway, I'm going to take the camera, I'm going to walk you around, show you some of the parts, show you some of the stuff we've gotten done, and then I'm going to run the clips. And stay tuned, because at the end of the clips I got a whole bunch of still pictures I think you're really going to enjoy. Okay, here we go. I'll try to make this quick. Passenger side wheel tub, filler plates, all done, fully welded out. There's a little filler plate there. This all still needs to be tied in. It's going to be undercoated and, you know, primered, undercoated. Ridetech 4-link cradle, stitch welded in. Like I mentioned before, you guys, the factory metal is shit. And you gotta really be watching your welds with that stuff. Not only is it thin, but no matter how good you clean it, shit still comes out at you. Anyway, Philip welded this out for me so I could video. Plus he's a way better welder than I am. And this is a very important part. We're on the driver's side now. Driver's side filler plate, plug welded in. Whole tub is all welded in. Hopefully that sun's not going to blow this out. Anyway, so there's where we are on the inside and back of the car. Here's a shot of my American Racing Torque Thrust 2s. These are 1711s. on 315/35 ZR17s. We have them sitting here because you'll see in the still pictures, Philip and I pre-fitted everything up there with the 4-link and all that good stuff. Let's swing you over here. Here's the quick performance. And before I forget, I got to give a huge shout out to Brian. Brian spent many hours on the phone with me, helped me design and build this rear. It's a custom length rear. It's a 9-inch. This rear is good to 1,500 horsepower. 35 spline axles, which I have over there in a box. Thank you, Quick Performance. You did a fantastic job. Like I mentioned, my Hughes Performance 4L80E transmission and 11-inch torque converter came in. It's all boxed up, but you'll see in the still pictures what it looks like. I have the US Shift Quick 4 controller. Hey, look, there's my shadow. So that's here. I boxed it all back up again so it stays nice and fresh. Here's some of the Ridetech 4-link double adjust bars. These are my coilovers. You'll see in some of the video clips and stills all this stuff pre-fit in the car. Thank you, Brian, for the Quick Performance banner. It looks great in the shop. A big shout out and thanks to Pete over at Hughes Performance for spending many hours on the phone with me, helped me build this 4L80E transmission. And Pete, thanks for the banner. It looks great and the decals are awesome. Thanks, man. So here's the car up on the lift. I'll bring it down and then take you on the inside and show you the results of the welded and wheel tubs. Okay, this is the inside rear of the driver's side wheel tub, all plug welded in. Passenger side wheel tub, all stitch welded and plug welded in. Here's a shot of the driver's side rear and passenger side rear. Okay, let's run those clips from the last few weeks. We're getting ready to poke holes. These are going to be plug welds, 9/32. So I marked all out where we need to plug weld all the way around. And then of course the top that you can't see back here all gets plug welded as well. So we're going to poke some holes right now real quick. We're going to be using the Eastwood metal punch. This is good to 14 gauge. Here's the kit. It's about 50 bucks. Well worth it, so then I don't have to drill a bunch of holes. Let me get this open. So, comes with all the punches and dies in there. Makes nice clean holes. My wheels and tires finally came in after 7 weeks. A big shout out to Wheel King in Fresno. Those guys really hooked me up. So anyway, this is a 315/35 R17 Z-rated tire. I have to get my 9-inch rear axle measurement, so I have these fit up on these high lift jack stands right now. I have them centered exactly front to rear, side to side. I have plenty of room inside these wheel wells. I could have went with a tire 2 inches wider, and these are about just under 13 inches wide. It's a nice big meet. So anyway, here's where I'm at. I'm figuring this stuff out. I got the 4-link cradle nut certs all drilled and ready to go. That was trial fitted in. I'll cover more of that later. But here's these big old meats here, and let me show you the front one. So the suspension's hanging free right now. Plus, this is not the Ridetech suspension on the front, but here's the front wheel and tire. I am not going for the autocross look. I'm going to try to stick with old school look. So, you know, I have a lot meatier tire than factory, but not too crazy wide like autocross guys run. So there's your front setup. So after doing all my measurements, checked them like 14 times, it looks like my overall width on my 490 is going to be 56 inches, 28 inches per side. That's centered up perfect. It gives me over a half-inch clearance on each side of each tire in the rear. So if I ever wanted to go with a bigger tire, I could easily. These wheels, these have a 6-inch backspace. And from the tire to the mounting surface on the inside of the wheel is 6¼ inches. Here's an inside shot without the 4-link cradle in. I'm very happy with the way these meats look. Here's a side shot. I think it's going to look pretty damn good. I'm sure you guys will agree, and girls. In the process of making the filler plates for the driver's side mini tubs. Got the frame rail reinforcement plate done, formed, tacked in, filled in. Now I'm making this piece right here to reinforce all this area right here, and I'll show you the piece I got for that. Okay, I cut this out on the do-all bandsaw. This is a filler plate here. I have a little bit of massaging to do still before I tack it in, but here's the piece. And that's going to fill in this area right here. And then I have to make a piece to fill in this area right here, just to reinforce all this. This is all solid, so this is good. This is solid. This is solid now. And this is all solid. So this is actually stronger than factory. Got the reinforcement filler plates all tacked in. At the point now where it just has to be welded out, ground flat. And then we need to punch the holes in the wheel tub for the driver's side tub.
More like welding to body filler.
Passenger side wheel tub, ready to weld in. It's all good fitment. Everything's ready to go, everything's cleaned up. And Philip and I are going to start welding this bad boy in. Ridetech 4-link cradle installed. So we decided we're going to stitch weld it since we had to make cutouts for the mini tubs, and I'll show you that right now. So we made cutouts right here for the mini tubs. We're going to stitch weld this, and let me bring it to the other side. This tub's in completely, and we got to stitch weld this right here. This back end of the car is going to be stronger than it ever was. Working on the driver's side wheel tub, and I have to make one more filler plate, and I'll bring you over and show you where this goes. You see I marked out these different widths, and I'll show you why. This fold over piece is not wide enough to spot weld the wheel well. So this is going to extend, basically extend what I needed to make up where the metal's missing. So here's where we're at with the passengers, or I'm sorry, driver's side. I'm tired, I worked all day and it was hot. Got this all reinforced, welded in, all ground down, all reinforced, welded in. Got a little tiny frame rail there, but I got it very strong. And then, like I mentioned before, I have the 4-link cradle temporarily bolted in. We're going to weld that all up because of the cutouts on this side and the passenger side. So anyway, wanted to share that, moving right along. Per Detroit Speed's instructions, they want a little tie-in plate here from the new tub to the existing outer wheel well. So I made this up, 18 gauge plate with 9/32 holes to plug weld it. Okay, that bad boy's done. I also put another little reinforcement plate right here as well. This had some body work done to it, so when I wanted to reinforce this right here, this all gets seam sealed, pressured in, and then undercoat it. And then I showed you this already, but ground down all the welds. Looks pretty clean. So I'm just going to DA it and epoxy primer it for now.
They've been going in on that Dahmer shit, man.
Phil and I just trial fit everything since the Quick Performance rear axle came in. I also have the full Ridetech cradle installed. Phil and I got that bolted in. It's not welded in, but we will weld it in once we know everything's all good. Everything is fitting perfect, man. The guys at Quick Performance totally hooked me up. Spent many hours on the phone with those guys, as well as Ridetech. This suspension is just badass. I mean, it's a true 4-link, fully adjustable, coilovers. I got 17 by 11 inch, 315, 35 ZR 17s on the back of this thing. I mean, look at those meats. And they fit in there. Quick Performance got my narrowed rear perfect. I mean, look at that. Everything's perfect. Anyway, again, this is all trial fit. Everything's fitting up good. I'm really happy with the results. Phil and I have a little bit more welding and some filler plates to do on the wheel wells, but both wheel wells are welded in. Of course, we're going to pretty them up. But anyway, yeah, just look at that suspension. That's so nice. Anyway, there's your update. Stay tuned for some more. I hope you enjoyed this update, the video clips and the stills. So guys, until next time, see ya.